The silent passenger. The last bus of the night always had an unsettling silence. The fluorescent lights flickered above, buzzing faintly, and the rumble of the tires on the empty highway was the only sound. Few people ever rode this late, and those who did usually kept to themselves, staring out the windows or pretending to sleep. It was on such a night that Ethan Miller, a college sophomore, stepped onto the 11:45 p.m. bus heading out of downtown Chicago. He had been at a late study group, missed his earlier train, and the bus was his only way home. The driver, a grizzled man with a weathered face and piercing eyes, gave Ethan a quick look. "Ticket," the driver muttered, barely glancing at it. Then, almost as an afterthought, he said, "Don't sit in the back row." Ethan frowned. "Excuse me." The driver's jaw tightened. "Just don't. Sit anywhere else." Confused but too tired to argue, Ethan shrugged and made his way down the aisle. Only a handful of passengers dotted the seats. A woman in business clothes scrolling through her phone, a middle-aged man in a baseball cap dozing against the window, a teenager with headphones pulled low over his eyes. The rest of the bus was empty. Ethan slid into a seat halfway back, slung his backpack beside him, and tried not to think about the driver's strange warning. But curiosity gnawed at him. After 10 minutes, Ethan glanced toward the rearview mirror above the driver's head. Something shifted in the reflection. The back row wasn't empty. A figure sat there, hunched forward slightly, its face hidden in shadow. He hadn't seen anyone get on after him. He could barely make out its shape, a thin frame, long arms resting on its knees, head tilted down. Ethan blinked. Was someone really there? Or was it just the dim lighting and his tired eyes playing tricks? The bus jolted over a bump, and the figure twitched, jerky, unnatural, as if the movement had startled it awake. Ethan quickly looked away, heart hammering. The driver had said not to look back. Minutes crawled by. The woman with the phone got off at her stop. Then the man with the baseball cap. Then the teenager. One by one, the bus emptied until only Ethan remained. And the thing in the back row. The streetlights outside grew sparser as the bus moved into quieter neighborhood. Shadows pressed thick against the windows. Finally, Ethan couldn't take it anymore. He turned in his seat, trying to get a better look. The figure was still there. Only now its face was visible. A pale, gaunt face with hollow eyes. Its lips were stretched into the faintest, crooked smile. Ethan whipped his head forward, breath catching in his throat. The driver's eyes met his in the mirror. "You looked, didn't you?" the driver said, his voice heavy. Ethan's mouth went dry. What is that?" The driver shook his head, gripping the wheel tighter. "Don't talk to it. Don't acknowledge it. Just keep your eyes front." Ethan's chest tightened. His instincts screamed to run, but where could he go? The bus roared down empty streets. His phone had no signal. The only sound was the steady rumble of the engine, and something else. Breathing. Slow, rattling breathing, coming from just a few rows behind him. Ethan clenched his fists. "Why is it here?" he whispered. The driver's voice was grim. "It rides the last bus. Always has. Always will. Folks call it the silent passenger. If you don't notice it, you're safe. But once you see it..." A loud creak cut through his words. Ethan froze. Footstep. The figure was moving. Every muscle in Ethan's body tensed as he heard the slow shuffle of shoes dragging against the bus floor, getting closer. He didn't dare turn around. The driver's voice grew sharp. "Don't move. Don't look. Don't speak." Ethan's pulse thundered in his ears. The footsteps stopped just behind his seat. He could feel the air grow colder, like the thing was leaning over him. A whisper brushed his ear. "Switch seats with me." Ethan's throat went dry. He wanted to scream, but the driver's warning echoed in his mind. He squeezed his eyes shut, gripping the seat in front of him so hard his knuckles turned white. The silence stretched. The breathing grew louder. And then, another creak. The footsteps shuffled back, retreating toward the rear. Ethan forced himself to keep facing forward. Finally, the bus hissed to a stop. The driver's voice was tight. "This is your stop, kid. Get off. Don't look back. Don't ever ride this bus again." Ethan grabbed his backpack and bolted down the aisle. He could feel the eyes of the silent passenger boring into his back, but he resisted the urge to glance over his shoulder. He leapt down the steps and stumbled onto the empty street. The bus doors slammed shut. With a low roar, the bus disappeared into the night, taillights fading until the road was empty. Ethan stood trembling under a flickering street lamp, his breath ragged, his body drenched in sweat. He told himself he'd never take the late bus again. But the image of that face, the hollow eyes, the crooked smile, haunted him long after. And deep down, he knew the truth. Once you see the silent passenger, you never really escape it,